I have with me a lady by the name of Sara Penny. Sara is very active within the organization, the Orchestra of Southern Utah. She has known it since its foundation almost. Well, I wouldn't quite say that, but she is the historian. She can probably tell us a little bit about the OSU.
We're so happy that you're here joining us today. Our orchestra dates back to pioneer times. We have a canyon named Fiddler's Canyon. The pioneers brought their fiddles for dancing and for solace, and the music has kept going ever since. This orchestra dates back also to the founding of the Southern Utah University. So the original orchestra was a community college collaboration. So the first time I played Messiah, I was in 6th grade, and Mr. Halverson was in charge of it, and he said, he put me at the back of the seconds and said, get the notes you can, and next year you'll get more. And so I've done this performance over 50 years, not only here, but also in Pennsylvania, Ireland, and Texas. So the idea of this particular performance, this will be our 78th annual performance of the Handel's Messiah, and the idea is the community chorale and the Orchestra of Southern Utah present this as a gift to the community.
You mentioned that the Orchestra of Southern Utah dates back to the founding of the Southern Utah University as well. And do you attribute that strong relationship between the Southern Utah University and the Orchestra of Southern Utah to originally founding it together? I understand that OSU is a nonprofit organization, somewhat independent from Southern Utah University. However, there's still a strong bond. There's almost a synergistic energy between the two. I see many of the university's professors participating, and many of probably their students are participating in the orchestra as volunteers. I'm sure they're all non-paid positions, but they certainly love to participate. The community as well seems to, be very much adherent to what the university does and supports them as well. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Everything we do is cooperative. We work with the community, we work with the university. So, for example, our musical director, Shuin Soon, is also the director of orchestra studies at Southern Utah University. Our chorale director, Jackie Riddle-Jackson, is also a vocal teacher at SUU. There are many SUU students and musicians involved in this performance, as well as community people. This year, we have the Canyon View High School choir under the direction of Alex Byers joining our community chorale. So the ages of the chorale range from about 16 to 80.
So again, the relationship is strong. The talent you draw on is from both Southern Utah University. Many of them that are in the orchestra, I imagine, are also graduates from Southern Utah University.
Many are, and some of us, I grew up in Cedar City and went to the University of Utah, and then, like a butterfly, I returned home. So some of us have been out in the world and gotten ideas to bring back to help build our arts community.
You mentioned that the OSU performs internationally as well sometimes?
No, we have in our orchestra. Music director Shuin Soon took a group of our musicians to China, and they had a wonderful experience performing in China. He has also guest conducted in Ukraine twice, as well as in other venues, and some of our other orchestra musicians have performed internationally and have moved on to musical careers. For example, one of our oboe soloists now lives in Wales and is playing in orchestras in Wales.
Now, the president of the organization, his name is Harold Shirley. Now, Harold has a very colorful history in itself. Can you elaborate a little bit more on Harold? He's an ex-mayor of Cedar City, so the community's 100% behind OSU. Again, that influence.
Harold was partially responsible for the building we're sitting in. He was the mayor when the Heritage Center was conceived and started. He was also my journalism advisor when I was the newspaper editor at Cedar High, so we go way back. But he is a stalwart supporter of the arts, and he actually received the Utah Philanthropic Award through the Utah Philanthropic Organization, which is a really big deal, a couple of years ago. So he was given an opportunity to speak to these people from all over the state about the value of philanthropic work and what we can do to make the whole state a better place.
Can you tell us a little bit more about this Sunday and Monday's performance? These tickets are absolutely free. How is that possible?
The Messiah is sponsored by State Bank of Southern Utah and the Levitt Group so that we can offer it as a gift to the community. And the chorale and the orchestra donate their time to make this possible. As I said, I was recently in Ireland, and their Messiah cost 30,000 euros, and it was becoming prohibitive for them even to present it because it's so expensive. So it's the volunteerism and the excellent training of the people that make it possible for us to keep this going. And we love having these young people involved who will help keep the tradition alive.
These are the things that combine to make this such a beautiful event. I wish you would take the time to come see it. This is just something you really want to see. As you previously mentioned, the Cedar City seems to have ties to China in that one of their well-known citizens spent some time in China as a reporter, and she was quite successful there. Is that why we have a strong relationship again with China in Cedar City?
Helen Foster Snow was raised in Cedar City, and she was the wife of Edgar Snow, but she had gone as a single young reporter to Shanghai and had a lot of impact on helping set up schools and hospitals. And there is a statue on our Cedar City Main Street, which was funded and designed and built and transported here by friends of Shuin Soon, our orchestra director. So when you're in Cedar City, if you see Helen Foster Snow, that has orchestra ties thanks to our conductor.
The venue for many of the OSU performances is the Heritage Center. It's also shared by the Southern Utah University. Can you tell us a little bit more about this particular venue?
We needed a concert hall. The university was growing, and it was increasingly difficult for us to use the university auditorium and other facilities, the Randall Theater. We did do the Messiah there. We had used the high school facilities, but we really needed a community arts center. So we had the opportunity to, when they were doing redevelopment for Cedar City, to build this magnificent building, and we would love for you to see it. It seats 998, because if you have 1,000, you pay more in royalties for musicals. So there are community musicals here, a women's choir in Jubilo, the male choir, master singers, the Orchestra of Southern Utah, the Cedar City Music Arts presentations, numerous SUU concerts, and it's been the heart of our cultural community since it was built, and we love this building.
The Orchestra of Southern Utah has won numerous awards for excellence.
One of our projects was the Spanish Trail Suite, and we commissioned this music and got a National Endowment of the Arts grant to make this happen. And we used young composers, Marshall McDonald, and he asked for his friend Stephen Sharp Nelson to be involved. Now, you'll recognize that name because he's the cellist in The Piano Guys. And so what has happened is we've had the opportunity to nurture young talent like Marshall and Steve and give them opportunities, and that has resulted in awards from the American League of National Orchestras. Some of our programs are innovative, like our Jubilee. We've received awards for that. So it's a group of very dedicated people who really believe in music and the arts and want to make these things available for the community. We also have a YouTube channel, so you can see performances on our YouTube channel if you just Google Orchestra of Southern Utah.
Sara Penny, I thank you so much for this interview.
I just really appreciate Rudy taking the time to drive up from Mesquite, and I hope that some of you will drive up from Mesquite and enjoy our arts community here in Cedar City. We love what we're doing, and we're happy to share.